For today's video, we talk about the overview of CELPIP Listening Part 6 and its key strategies, practice test, answer, and transcript. Lastly, some takeaway. In Listening Part 6, we are listening for viewpoints that lasts about 8 minutes and answer about 6 questions. This part is the most complicated section of the listening test. The tone is formal and the speaker will use specialized language. You will be tested on concepts, opinions, possibilities, and draw a conclusion based on the speech. Take a look of the example scenarios on the screen and think about what information you may need before listening. Before we do the practice test, keep in mind that in this part, you are not only identifying main ideas and key details, but also identifying who, how, what, and why the speaker feel about the topic. The most importantly, understand the big picture idea to make inferences about concepts, hypotheticals idea, possibilities, etc. Listen in between words to determine if the speaker agrees, disagree, or neutral about the main topic. Try noting down examples for each point in short sentences. You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
The addition of bike lanes in densely populated urban areas throughout major Canadian cities is on the rise, creating tension between cyclists and car drivers. Shannon Tulu, an avid biker and campaigner for city cycling in Toronto, says that bike lanes have been absent for too long in city planning. She believes it is the long wait that has created a culture of car drivers that are now irrationally annoyed at having to accommodate for different modes of transport. The municipal government, meanwhile, is hesitant to support cyclists over drivers. And yet, had major bike lanes been around 20 years ago, Tulu suggests, the bike culture would have grown since then, and no one would be batting an eye now. She points to cities such as Amsterdam, where 40% of commuting is done by bike, and the infrastructure has been in place for decades. For Tulu, the main need for bike lanes is safety. Having been in 2 serious bike accidents in which no bike lane was available, Tulu understands the need for a designated cyclist roadway. Tulu says statistics show that less bike accidents occur when cyclists have their own lane. Fred Morris is the chair of the Provincial Mountain Biking Association. His passion for cycling does not, however, place him in the same camp as Tulu. On the contrary, Morris counters that while recreational bicycling is wonderful, bikes have no place in city traffic. 5 years ago, he was in an accident in which he was cycling in a designated lane. Morris argues bike lanes create the illusion of safety because cyclists assume drivers are looking out for them. He says bike lanes actually increase the chance of car drivers hitting cyclists when they accidentally turn in front of them. Morris criticized cyclists for being aggressive. They don't want to lose their momentum and come to a full stop at intersections, and so they take chances to maintain speed. Morris agrees with Tulu that if more city bike lanes had been built in Toronto decades ago, things would be much different. More bike lanes then would have meant a much stronger bike culture now, and car drivers would be more accepting and aware. But Morris says it's much too late to try and add bike lanes into already dense, populated areas. Doing so, he says, will just cause more aggression on both sides.
While listening, recognize the keywords for reported speech, identify facts and opinions. Recognizing inference questions and some note-taking skill help you to find the clues, then answer questions effectively in the timely manner. Reported speech is when we tell someone what another person said. To do this, we can use direct speech or indirect speech. Direct speech. I work in a bank, said Daniel. Indirect speech. Daniel said that he worked in a bank. Here are the keywords that help you to determine if the speaker agree or disagree or have neutral opinion about the concept. When you hear those keywords, it's time for you to note down short sentences or key details to answer the question later. Here is the steps you can use to recognize the inference questions. Here are some suggestions for note-taking to help you organize and find your answer from your notes more easily. 3 steps to set yourself up for success. Lastly, here's the takeaway. Feel free to rewind the video to find the most effective tip for you.